everybody. It got started a little bit later tonight. I like to start these around 9 o'clock for whoever is up and can tune in or is interested in the local true crime aspect that's been going on lately. The thumbnail headline here, it's kind of clickbait, I'm not going to lie to you, is Gretchen Fleming's name was noticed to be in the Epstein files, but it's not anything big. It's just like a list serve thing of like a newsletter that was repeatedly sent to Epstein supposedly after his death. And I've talked about this multiple times. He never actually died. I don't know if you guys are catching some of these videos, but people are saying they're taking pictures of him and everything, and that he supposedly is out in Israel or something, or some people are saying maybe Colorado. I'm not sure yet, but that's the sentiment, is that. And I said that actually was on my birthday of August 10th of 2019, and Bill Barr, Attorney General, had actually talked to him the day before, and there's supposed to be a real grainy picture of him being lowered outside the window. The cameras were shut off. The security guards all fell asleep. There's just too many things that happen together that make it look like, okay, there's foul play here. Now, with Hailey Maxwell, and I know a lot of people don't really know how to pronounce her name. If you know Virginia Roberts Giuffre, she was the one that came out about Prince Andrew, and this is real big in the news right now. Prince Andrew, well, he's not Prince now. He got his official royal title stripped, all because of misconduct in a public position. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's because he's in the Epstein files, and not only is he in the Epstein files, but Virginia Roberts Giuffre was coming out for years and saying, yeah. And at the time when he raped her, they forced Virginia Roberts at the time, before she was married, her name was Virginia Roberts, as a 17-year-old. She was underage, in this modeling agency that they had recruited her from, I think in Florida. And basically they said, you're supposed to do for him what you've done for, or what you did for Jeffrey Epstein. And I guess Andrew, Duke of York at the time, was real pleased, and Hailey Maxwell went to Virginia and said, well done, here is, I think it was $15,000. Yeah, I'm almost sure it was $15,000 that she was paid at that time. And she's 17 years old at this time. There was a lot of that going on. Some of that was being recruited supposedly at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, but apparently he didn't know about it really. And then when he found out about it, he kind of put a stop to it. But anyway, now the big news is Prince Andrew is arrested. He's going to be in jail. King Charles, I guess, is saying that they're supporting the investigation and whatever, but they knew about this all a long time ago. You know, a lot of people said Queen Elizabeth was a reptilian shapeshifter. You see that on cartoons a lot, and I've been saying that too. I mean, there are videos out there showing her eyes and everything, and she supposedly died, what, last year? I don't know. I don't want to get too off track. Let's get back onto the other news locally. We do have a real sad event here to report in Parkersburg here. I had been walking the dog this morning right down the road, and I kind of looked at this thrift shop that went out of business a few months ago. And here I come back and get in the house, and I guess there was a gunshot went off. Some kid killed himself, a juvenile. It's very, very sad, and I don't know the details, and there's a lot of mental health. You know, people suffer from mental health. You know, I went for a health education degree. It's part of what we talked about. And I know this area, man, there's not a lot of jobs. The economy's down. You know, the cost of goods is so darn high right now. If it's hard for us as adults, think about how hard it is for kids who may or may not be in a bad, you know, environment. I have no idea the details. I have no idea. I guess the neighbors were outside. They heard the gun go off. Must have happened in the house or something. And they maybe on the porch, and they said they heard the family just crying and screaming, and terrible situation. So if you are the praying type, I would recommend please to pray for this family that is in Parkersburg dealing with the loss of their apparent son. It's not good news at all. I had gotten back in the house, and I didn't realize it. I thought maybe I heard something, but it didn't register that it was a gun. It was kind of faint for me. I'm a little ways up the road, so I don't know. Just please pray for them, and I can't imagine what they're going through right now. But other news, I don't want this video to be real long for you guys tonight who are tuning in. I appreciate you guys. You guys are doing a good job in helping me with solving these crimes and stuff. An update on what I talked about last night for those of you who were here tuning in or had caught the video afterward. There was a woman who was murdered 20 years ago in 2006 in New Straitsville, Ohio, and that's in the Wayne National Forest. And her body was found face down in a creek off of Salem Hollow Road. I couldn't remember that word last night, the S word, Salem. Salem Hollow Road out in New Straitsville, Ohio. We're pretty close to the city of Logan, Ohio, off of US 33 as you're going south of Columbus and in the Wayne National Forest there. And the reason that this case stood out is because of the murder of Hailey Buzbee that I've been talking about in the last several videos. The purported killer, Tyler Thomas, 39-year-old Tyler Thomas from Columbus, Ohio, he had rented a cabin out from Logan County. I think that's Hocking County, which was by Logan, and then he drove across the state line to Perry County, Ohio. And they said that where Hailey Buzbee was found was actually really close. It was off the North Country Trails Trailhead. Well, that's where this other woman, I'm not saying her name yet, because the friend who works with us, who had loosely had identified, it was one of her best friends at the time in 2006. So until we get more details, I'm kind of not like putting the name out there yet. But like I said, that woman was found buried face down in a creek, naked. And I guess she came back with me. She did touch base with the family, and she said that, I can't remember who told her, but somebody in the family said that it was, my grow lights just went off on my plants, that's why it got dark. She said that their investigation at the time found that she had drugs in her system and that she had died of hypothermia. And this was April 8th, 9th, or 10th, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. She was found that Monday morning by the fire department. Sheriff's department, they didn't have enough personnel to go look at the time. So, yeah, it's going to be cold. Beginning of April, in the overnight hours, early morning hours, of course, but they're trying to act like she died of hypothermia. Now, let me get this straight, okay? So this doesn't jive up at all. You've got a woman who you're claiming had drugs in her system from a talk screen, okay? We don't know what drugs it would have been. Well, she could have been drugged, for one. But I'm trying to ask details, like who did she go? Because she went to a cabin that was rented too. And supposedly they were out picnicking, but I don't have clear details on that. I don't know that she went there with the family. I'm wondering if this Tyler Thomas must have done it 20 years ago and he was 19 because of the location of the bodies. So nobody is going to go lay face down in a creek that's not even that deep and drown themselves and die of hypothermia like that. It would take hours for you to die that way. So the investigation seems like it was botched from the start. They didn't even have enough people to go out looking for her back in 2006. So now you've got Tyler Thomas, fast forward to now in 2026, picks up Hailey Buzbee overnight, January 5th and 6th, which was exactly 6 months from when he last met her at her restaurant in Fishers, Indiana on June 5th of 2025. And it makes you wonder, is this a repeat? Killers like to go back to the scene of the crime, and if you get away with it once, you could get away with it again, or so he thought. The reason he didn't this time is because his cell phone gave him away. So they actually pinged the cell phone. I know a lot of our investigations here in West Virginia, sometimes they don't act right away, and then they can't ping the cell phone records. The cell phone companies say the data is just lost if you wait like a month or something. So I know that's happened in John DiMarino's case. I know you guys probably don't know who I'm talking about. He came up missing from Parkersburg in 2019 from Uncle Mike's bar, and that was split between Spencer, Parkersburg, and then the Ohio State Police, and then they just never pinged the cell phone in time. And then after a month, they said they had Spencer had the wrong phone number on him, and then by the time they got it right, they said, well, we can't do anything for you. It's gone. So keep that in mind on some of these investigations. That's how Tyler Thomas was caught. He led investigators right to where he buried her under the snow, January 6th. And he had committed that crime in a day and a half. picked her up, probably dismembered her in Logan, Ohio at the Airbnb cabin rental, and then drove next county over and buried her. They don't take long, and a lot of times you see that they hurry through these things. So that's when you got to ask yourself: is it a heat of passion crime? Is it a repeat offense? I'm starting to wonder. So there are a couple other things I'm supposed to talk about. Oh gosh, there's so much going on, and now of course I'm forgetting some of the topics. Those were the main things. I know. There's if you're into paranormal stuff like I am, I know a couple things that we're supposed to be getting full disclosure on aliens. People keep saying President Trump's supposed to be announcing that. I've reported on that. There's also north of Cincinnati, the Loveland Frogman Festival, and I don't remember what year that the Frogman was sighted out there, but there is supposedly another creature like this that's been sighted down. I think it was Mexico, one of those countries down there. I think it was Mexico, and people saw another creature like that. So if you're to guess if I believe it, I would say, yeah, it was real. Loveland is north of Cincinnati, and it was like a reptilian frog man type of creature, like a hybridization project or something. I have no idea. Could have been like Mothman came up from underground. We have no idea. But anyway, that is going on March 7th. I want to say that's a Saturday. I'm going to probably, hopefully, be there. I get into this stuff. Ashley Hilt will be there. She is a local author from the Kettering area north of Dayton, and she will be there. She was at the Mothman Festival in Point Pleasant last September. So if you guys get into that stuff, I know the Mothman Festival will be going on third weekend of September. That's a very fun event. It's so crowded on Saturday that you're going to be running into throngs of people, but it's, for the 5 or 6 city blocks, it's really fun. I would highly recommend going to it. A lot of trinkets for sale if you like Mothman, and you'll see a lot of people dressed up as Mothman. You get to see the Ghostbusters blow up, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. They have got an alien coming out of a box. The line for the museum, Mothman Museum, owned by Jeff Wamsley, will be wrapped all the way around the back of the building to the next city block. And I heard they've got high prices, but I like him. I remember from years ago when I talked to him. But anyway, that's enough about paranormal stuff. Stay tuned with the Epstein files. People are coming out with more and more. Helene Maxwell, want to touch on this. It appears that there's a body double switch been done with her. And some people think that she's just gained weight. If you've been keeping up, I personally would say it doesn't look like the same person at all. The nose is much more big. The earlobes are in different spots. She just doesn't even look like the same person. I don't know what's going on here, how they think they can pull this stuff over on us. I said Epstein was switched out on my birthday on August 10th, and I think he was lowered out the window. But Helene Maxwell, and that's the one that Virginia Roberts Giuffre, back on her, she said that Trump never did anything to her. She said it was all Andrew, Duke of York at the time. But she said that if you guys thought Epstein was evil, she said Helene Maxwell was worse. She said that is the absolute personification of evil. And you got to understand, like, she's between 17 and 18 or 19 at the time of her dealings back then. Maybe not even 19. She probably only did it for a year or so. I have no idea, but they ended up killing her in Australia. 2 attempts. You guys probably know this. The first one was a bus going about 71. It was 71 miles an hour. Even though they drive in kilometers, I converted it. It was 71 miles an hour, hour speed. And it hit the car on the passenger side of which she was riding in. That was the first attempt. And it had kids in the back of it too. I thought, this is really outlandish. You're going to try to do a suicide attempt on somebody trying to out somebody about this big stuff, and you've got kids riding on a bus. And as she's in the hospital, she just gets out on her family farm, and then not long afterward, I think it was a couple weeks, they did her in. But because of her efforts, because she spoke out about it, the family is very happy that Andrew has been stripped of his royal titles, and now he is in jail. And there's a good chance that he could be rotting in jail for the rest of his life. There's actually a chance of this. So let's hope for justice. People keep asking the question. I said, why are all these people in foreign countries getting arrested? But what about the accountability here in the United States? We got people getting body double switched out of prison and stuff, but is anybody going to jail? I mean, you've got Sean Combs, the Allie Carter case right now. She's been talking about it, but what's going on with him? I mean, people were asking me, they said, how long is he in for? I said, well, I heard 4 years. And I think there might be another trial coming on him for more charges, but her case right now is being taken by Truth Be Told, a private investigations team based out of Texas. They're on Rumble. If you go to Rumble platform and look up Truth Be Told, Allie Carter, you're going to catch up to speed. They do a great job. I fully support what they're doing. I told him how I'm censored on YouTube and they won't let me monetize or anything. And he said, yeah, he said, we haven't been on there for 5 years. He said, anybody who gets real big on YouTube, he said, you seriously have to question. And I said, yeah, I know. It's just the way it is. But they're doing a great job. And Allie Carter, she's been talking about it. If you get time, look it up, because her and her mom, Shelly Carter, her adopted mother, they talk about all this stuff. And they talk about MK Ultra and what's been going on. And Allie talks about the submarines that go from island to island out there, from Little St. John Island, which is Epstein Island, to the other island there in St. Thomas. And Mark Zuckerberg has a submarine. Oprah has a submarine. And they actually showed a trap door coming up with water, like under the freaking ground. Like they've dug somehow off the coast of these islands, and a submarine will go to it. And there's a building where you go inside the building and there's a trap door that flips up and you see water. What happens is the submarine will come underneath. They'll open their top door on the submarine and they funnel the kids down through that trap door into the submarines, and people like Mark Zuckerberg. And I've talked about this. I had a video banned on TikTok. I promise you, it got 4,300 views. If you go to GodSpeed Ministries on TikTok, you probably can see it. They've banned it, but you can see how many views it got. And it was showing out in Vancouver, British Columbia, a woman screaming about the human trafficking that was going there. You got to think about all these coastal areas. That's where these submarines are going. Okay? And this woman screaming like, I'm just seeing kids getting human trafficked and nobody's doing anything about it. A lot of our police departments are compromised. We've got people across the country in various towns and cities saying, hey, I think my police department is involved in human trafficking. And I'm like, duh? I'm like, yeah, I've been saying this. I've been wondering that about the one here. I don't have anything concrete on him, but there was a report of one guy who was coming out. He made a video, just a young kid, and now he's missing. So we need more people. If more people get up and talk about this stuff, what are they really going to do? How are they going to stop it all? They can't. So until we actually get accountability here stateside of people that are doing human trafficking, pedophilia, and stuff like this, you know, I'm digging into the strong possibility that President Trump might be, but I had somebody correcting me today because I had shared a picture of what I thought was Pam Bondi, and it wasn't her. So there are a lot of lies out there. There are a lot of artificial intelligence, and we're living in very hard times with AI, and this is why I hate artificial intelligence. You just see too many lies. You don't know what to believe anymore. So I think that was kind of part of the reason they pushed it out, because they knew this stuff was coming to a head. They knew that people were going to get exposed, so let's mix in some lies to try to conceal the truth. So I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to drag this on too long for you guys. I appreciate you guys who are tuning in. Thank you very much. Keep doing what you're doing. Try to help us solve these crimes. I do probably need to touch base with the Bureau on Indianapolis, maybe Cincinnati, about the possibility of the bodies being found in New Straitsville being connected, because if there's a chance that these bodies are being found in the same place off the same trailhead, and I'm talking the North Country Trails Trailhead, I'm going to try to drive up there when I get the truck fixed and when weather stays warm, if I get time to, and just kind of poke around, maybe look for shallow graves or something. I don't know, but this trail actually goes for a few miles, several miles probably, and it goes over like 3 or 4 different roads. Like, it's not real long, but it's long. And if you're not like an avid hiker, you probably wouldn't be able to do it all. Looking at it, to me, it looks like it's 10 miles maybe or less. I don't know, but what are the odds that 2 women now have been found, and then we get reports that Gretchen Fleming was dropped or dumped in the Wayne National Forest? So could she be out there? I don't know. We just need time to really look. So Tomorrow, it'll be Friday Night Frights. I'm going to try to go live at 9 for those of you guys who have time. And I will try to get out an astrological reading of this woman who did a reading on Gretchen Fleming according to the stars and the houses and all that. I don't get into this as a Christian, and I don't want people to say, oh, you know, you're consulting mysticism and all this. No, I don't. But I happened to run across it, and, you know, for what it's worth, on the X-Files, and I know a lot of people think that's science fiction, but they actually had a movie where it was based off a true story where a woman actually was found who had been murdered from a psychic. So you guys hear this stuff. Psychics can, I think they can find people, but regardless, I'll try to come out with that tomorrow night at 9. So thanks again for tuning in. Love you guys. I appreciate you. It's a very sad event here in Parkersburg with the kid committing suicide. Keep that family in your prayers. I don't know their name. It's just right off Broadway Avenue, right behind Noah's Ark thrift shop that went out of business. It's not good. And just pray for people around you. Mental health is very important. We all suffer from it at times. Take care of yourselves. It's never worth it. Reach out if you need help. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. Until next time, as always.